Hey everyone, so I hope everyone's having a good week so far. Mine's been a little bit crazy, but getting better. So tonight I wanted to talk about cultural humility. I had to go to court today, and so I was sitting in the room with several of the DSS caseworkers, and we were just talking about different experiences, and one caseworker was talking about a particular incident where she had to go into this small mountain town. She didn't have cell phone signal, and she was greeted by a man who had, I think she said like a 16-ounce beer, and he was very aggressive and was telling her, "You need to get out of my house, or out of my yard, off my property," and it really frightened her, and it got me to thinking about cultural sensitivity. Most of the time when we think about cultural sensitivity, we think about race or ethnicity, the country where someone's from, or, race-based cultural differences, that type of thing. I think that one thing that we fail to remember is that culture takes many different forms, and even in a small state like South Carolina, there are many different cultures, so to speak. We are a state that has coastal regions. We have large cities, not really large, but larger cities, and then we also have the mountains, and so all of those cultures that go with those regions differ greatly. For example, the people from the coast have different sets of traditions, different foods that they eat than people in the mountains, and the mountainous area of our state is fairly small. It covers just like maybe 3 counties out of the entire state, and so someone who is not from that region could very well be intimidated by some of the cultures or not understand some of the cultures. I can give you an example from a job that I worked at several years ago. We had a Hispanic program that we ran out of, I worked for Prevent Child Abuse, and so we had a Hispanic program, and then we had home visitation programs, and I was the assessment worker. And so our policy was the first time that someone went to a client's home that they had to have someone go with them, and so that person was often me because I was the assessment person. And so the Hispanic program that we had, me and the lady that worked in that program, she was Hispanic herself, and so we went into this area that has mostly Hispanic people. There's nicknames for those areas, referring to the fact that it's mostly Hispanic areas and that type of thing. But anyway, so we're driving in there one day, and I was in a fairly new car, and I was getting a little intimidated. We were going into a trailer park, and all I see are Hispanic people, and they're looking at me and looking at my car. It was a very poor area, and I told my coworker, I said, "I'm getting a little nervous because I'm afraid these people are thinking, what is this white woman doing, in our neighborhood?" And she was like, "It's okay, I'm with you, everything's going to be fine." And it was. And so a couple of weeks later, we were going into an area that was very mountainous. The culture there is very mountainous, and that's where I'm from. And she made the same comment to me. She said, I'm starting to get a little nervous. She said, what if someone comes to the door with a shotgun or whatever? And I was like, it's okay, these are my people. Most of the people around here, I know them because this is where I'm from, and we're going to be just fine. And so I think we kind of tend to forget those regional cultures can be vastly different, just 30 minutes away from each other. So that's something for everyone to think about. And my question for you guys is, have you experienced that type of culture diversity? And if so, what was your reaction to it? All right, hope you guys have a great rest of the week. Thanks.